Hey guys, welcome to Game 2, Amazon versus Dropbox. We have GuyWithName starting at the 12 o'clock location, aka Michael Durskin. He's going to go up against kmod, the purple zerg at the 3 o'clock location. This is close air. You got to be careful with kmod because he's in it for the ladies. And you know when players are in it for the ladies, they practice hard. Anyway, I'm not sure what it's with me. I want to call Cicero, and I almost did it again. Some sort of thing in my brain is like, no, Cicero is in fact Cicero. And I apologize to Cicero for that. And it's not like I haven't read... Anyway, I digress. I'm not going to focus on the past. Instead, MLG Shattered Temple, I believe. No close spawns. ZVP. It's going to come down to who has the better macro management oftentimes in these maps. And it looks like GuyWithName scouting immediately after Pylon. Wants to get a good look at kmod's spawn. Unfortunately, this is not going to pay off because he's scouting counterclockwise. He's going to come across kmod's base absolutely dead last. In the meantime, let's see if kmod in fact opens up with a early spawning pool. It looks like he's well on his way to going for a fast hatchery build. Tends to be a little bit more standard on large maps like this. The problem for protoss on this map is, and I think the key for zerg, you get creep spread going, you get your economy rolling. It becomes very difficult to apply any sort of pressure on them. Zerg, I mean, their economy is just brutally strong. That's really the power of Zerg, that you can build so much so quickly. But never mind, a probe. Did he catty corner that? Wow. Scouting the 3 o'clock location immediately. That's going to delay that hatchery. kmod's still not building a spawning pool. This drone a little bit, flubbing around a little bit. And it looks like this... okay, what happened was the Overlord scouted into GuyWithName's base. GuyWithName adjusting really well, though. And getting a pylon blockade. Excellent. Slowing down the Zerg economy. So as soon as he saw that Overlord, he shifted positions, got the probe there, and as a result is able to delay this natural expansion as well as delay tech. kmod floundering a little bit here early. And that is why you want to try to hide that Overlord as long as possible. Assimilator is up. 3 harvesters now in there. Overlord is checking that natural expansion a little bit. Needs to be careful just in case something's being built. Proxy location. Cybernetics core now on the front door as well. I gotta say, I really like what GuyWithName's doing. kmod just now getting his additional Overlord up. It was supply capped early, and honestly, small things early like this make a huge difference. Instead, kmod going for the invisible hatchery. Proxy hatching, well, not really proxy. Hidden hatchery at the 6 o'clock location. So what this is going to look like is a more aggressive all-in from kmod. If GuyWithName, though, persistently scouts this, he should know better. And the hope is essentially that GuyWithName will overcommit. One disadvantage of going for this is, 1, it's vulnerable, it's hard to defend. 2, it's hard to transfer drones there. You have to wait until that queen gets out with spawn larval to really saturate it. So it is less economically, a lot less economically feasible than just destroying this pylon and taking your natural expansion. However, if he takes this out, takes a 3rd hatchery as well, and denies scouting information, that still could be extremely beneficial. Probe hanging out the middle pylon. This is going to be the hero of the match, this probe. Looks like GuyWithName momentarily is going to be supply blocked. He did not produce a pylon to deal with the loss of pylon that was blocking that hatchery. He has a sentry on his front door, is worried about the 1 base play. In the meantime, Evolution Chamber, Roach Warren, second gas here for kmod. Is definitely working his way more towards a Roach, maybe infestor-based style of play. It's been very popular recently. Has not taken his natural expansion yet. And everything that GuyWithName sees, and actually this might be an intentional maneuver here from kmod, letting this probe inside. Because seeing an Evolution Chamber, seeing that Roach Warren, seeing 1 base, he might be thinking, okay, I'm going up against a 1 base, quick upgrade, all in from kmod. It's just going to be nothing but roaches extremely quickly, assaulting my front door. So as long as I take my natural expansion, have a lot of stalkers and sentries out, I should be able to defend it, and I'll end up taking the match. But 6 o'clock location, harvesters starting to spawn, starting to harvest. And that queen is at location. The spawn larval going to boost that larval count so he can produce the additional troops, or additional drones specifically that he needs. 4 sentries, that's infinite force fields on the front already for GuyWithName. Pylon, and he has taken that natural expansion. This is the key moment where kmod really needs to deny this information. Speed is not up. This probe, if it can wander up and get a good look at the roach count, could be huge. Seeing only 2 roaches might be Exactly what he needs. Still no natural expansion, so he's okay. No natural. Let's see if he wanders up and sees the roaches hanging out there at the nat. Nope. Does not see it. Does not have a good look at the roach count. In the meantime, layer tech for kmod at 40 supply is actually up on GuyWithName. GuyWithName, you could see, feeling the pressure. He's like, this has got to be a one-base attack. Canceling that natural expansion. Getting additional gateways in his main. Also getting a Stargate. Wanting to apply economic pressure and feeling like, okay, there's going to be no anti-air. So as long as I defend this, get some air attack going, he's not going to have anything to cope with me. In the meantime, kmod moving out and getting aggressive. He's showing a posture as though he is, in fact, basically down to a single base situation. But really what he needs to do is get defensive. Get more queens out. He is getting a Hydralisk Den. This could be absolutely critical. If he can get Hydralisks out, GuyWithName now taking his natural expansion, starting to block off his front door. Perhaps realizing, okay, if the attack timing was there, it would have already come. It would have been with those Zerglings. And the fact that it is not here, I have been duped. I need to catch up economically. Probe scouting out, sees a lot of Zerglings, and this has got to really be throwing him off. Okay, maybe it was just he's got to be so confused. Maybe that was a half-hearted attack. Spore Crawler in the natural expansion. Wow, anticipating the Stargate. So in a nice position to defend. This will give an opportunity for GuyWithName to scout the 6 o'clock base, however. Forge warping in cannon at the natural expansion as well. GuyWithName still playing very much in the dark, still perhaps very confused as to what kmod is up to. This is actually a stage where kmod might want to go ahead and just take his natural expansion. He has absolute fantastic map control. And if he takes that base, gets those Hydralisks out, this isn't a good push army for GuyWithName. The Zerglings, the Roaches, the Hydralisks in combination, yes, could be fantastic here. He can just pump drones at this stage. Void Ray in production for GuyWithName. Level 1 weapons as well. Glial Reconstitution, Groove Spines though, and a second Evolution Chamber up for kmod. Also, Ground Carapace level 1 about halfway finished. Great position for kmod, has really thrown GuyWithName out. Just really, really thrown him off here. Will GuyWithName be able to recover and take a second win for Team Amazon, or will kmod here, with what I gotta say is a very creative adjustment on that opening, just throwing his opponent a complete loop, be able to recover here? And basically take down the match through what I'm gonna almost call tomfoolery. Tomfoolery, that's right, strong language here. Void Ray, gonna catch an Overlord in that upper right-hand corner. But you're going to see a lot of Hydralisks produced very, very rapidly, and that Queen can still run up, maybe pick away at this. kmod might lose his Extractor here while these Hydralisks are in production. 4 right there. Spore Crawler is still sitting to the side, defending out. This is a good opportunity just to build a couple of Hydralisks and then just pump drones from here, though. kmod is in the red, losing a handful of drones, and this Void Ray already has 5-6 kills. It's actually been well worth its weight. Fantastic from this Void Ray. And it is going to be able to escape with its life. Well worth it. Coming back home victorious. That'll also provide some nice padding defense for that front door. Macro-wise, just about even. kmod now starting to pump the drones. 19 drones on this macro cycle. That's exactly what he needs to keep doing at this stage. Work that advantage while he can. Keep in mind, Robotech has also been slowed down. That's going to make those Hydralisks extremely strong here in the mid game. GuyWithName needs to do a very fast tech switch. Yes, that Void Ray did a lot of damage, but at the same time slows down that robotics tech, making those Hydralisks even stronger here. Level 1 armor about halfway finished for him. Zergling still denying information on this front door. Doing a fantastic job. And kmod, he's approaching that 60 harvester point where he can just pump as many troops as he wants off 3 bases and really engage and crush these armies. GuyWithName doing a good job to clear those Zerglings out in the front door, make kmod a little bit uncomfortable, force him to produce troops rather than just pumping drones here. Infestation Pit on the way. Now the question for kmod is does he go for the long term, just take absolute map control, go for additional expansions and just start parking an army out here and just try to play the Idris style game where he just wants to delay and starve out GuyWithName over the long term, or is he just going to start pumping out a gigantic army once this Infestation Pit is finished, get that fungal growth out, and basically use what is a great advantage here, which is a lot of Hydralisks potentially and absolutely no Colossi to take the match. Void Ray now staging out defensive posture in the middle. near that forge. We do have robotics facility pumping out observers. GuyWithName has just felt so nervous in the dark, wants to get some of that visual information. He does have finally a robotics bay in the background, produce those colossi. Zerglings can't be out near that gold expansion. Want to try to deny that as long as possible, because keep in mind, wants to try to hurt that economy, build his own economy. I'm seeing roaches, I'm seeing hydralisks starting to be produced. It looks like we have hive tech pushing out for kmod. So he's thinking about an endgame scenario where GuyWithName does not press out. I'm not sure that he has enough of a base army really to execute this though. 13 hydralisks, 9 roaches, 9 zerglings, compared to 18 stalkers, 5 stalkers, or sorry, 18 stalkers, 5 sentries, 2 void rays. So he has to hope that GuyWithName just sits back this entire match, lets him get the Spire Tech out, lets him get to Broodlore with basically no resistance. And I don't think that's going to happen with observers hanging out inside of his base. No overseers thus far for kmod. Starting to surge some zerglings out, probably going to take down this destructible rock. Actually checking that 9 o'clock base. He's got to know where expansions are. More zerglings starting to flood out. Looks like he's going to have level 2 missile attack. I was hoping to see more hydralisks at this stage, but thus far it looks like there's only a handful of hydralisks being produced at any given location, more playing a defensive posture. Zerglings, almost suiciding and checking out that front door. Didn't get a good look at much aside from the gateways and that forge spinning. Now some of that purple pushing out. The other thing I'm a little bit disappointed for him in kmod is the creep spread. Creep spread wins games. He's starting to push up to take his gold expansion. He is in fact at 56 harvesters, about even economically actually overall. He does have, again, that tech lead as long as there's few colossi out in the field. In fact, there's only a single colossi out. That is not enough to deal with all of these hydralisks. 20 hydralisks out currently. 6 mulisks out in the air. Hive tech is in fact finished. The spire is remaining silent though. The other thing I'm missing here, infestors, fungal growth. When you're going up against a very gateway, an inevitable gateway heavy army from GuyWithName because of that, because of the air start, you have to assume. Nice cannon up on that corner from GuyWithName. Looks like he's Void Rays also staging out to the 9 o'clock base just to try to deny those expansions to kmod. Now Corruptors being produced out in the field for kmod. 3 bases up and running. Some nice infrastructure for GuyWithName. Twilight Council is up, silent on the upgrades though. And I don't see a Templar Archives. Maybe I missed it in production. Okay, now Blink upgrading. Void Rays diving to the 6 o'clock location. There's a Queen and a Spore Crawler there. But it has to just buy time for those Hydralisks to swing to this direction. Attacking that, Extractor first. That Queen needs to be very, very careful because these Void Rays, once they're charged up, can melt her extremely rapidly. Case in point. But this is buying time for these Hydralisks, for these Roaches to press in, and these Void Rays are well overextended. And that is creep they've got to retreat through. So yes, they took out the... Oh, never mind. Oh yes, they do take out the Queen, but they are dead with nice positioning from GuyWithName. They've got a long distance to retreat, trying to micro the way back to this corner. Actually going to play it safe. They just need to get an Overlord out there because they can still attack from that corner. Expansion also at the 6 o'clock location. GuyWithName just providing some delay time, but kmod way up economically. 167 supply. Greater Spire just about finished, and he's got a sizable bank. He needs to work on that gas, though, to really make this attack effective. Ooh, and Mutalisks running up to finish this off with those Corruptors. They're going to catch these Void Rays out in open field. And it looks like the rest of that army going to stage towards the middle. So these Void Rays did what they could. They took out a Queen. Gonna die otherwise. Nidus Network now in production. And GuyWithName starting to press out 2 engages in the middle of the map. A lot of Stalkers. Level 2 weapons compared to 2-2. Just about even in upgrades. And there are plenty of Colossi now out in the field for GuyWithName, but he needs to babysit them very carefully. Hydralisks swinging around with the Mutalisks. The Corruptors are out of position though. Zerglings swinging in from the right. They're trying to get on top of those Colossi. They're the Corruptors. Oh my goodness. Huge army. GuyWithName pinned in. This just might be overwhelming Zerg numbers. And those Hydralisks just chewing through this infantry count. The force field's doing essentially nothing. The Colossi having to flee back to the defensive posture, but this might be it. kmod can probably just charge in, and it looks like he is in fact doing so. Crushing everything. He just has too much of an economy. 12 o'clock base getting rampaged. Oh, that poor Colossi. Not long for life, and that has to be GG. kmod up double supply over GuyWithName. So very nice play with kmod, I gotta say. Interesting adjustment. and it paid off. Threw Guy with Name off greatly. GG. Moving on to game 3. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for listening.